Good Sunday morning and welcome to this special edition of Inside Tennessee along with my colleague John North. I'm John Becker, and John, this is a tradition for us around Thanksgiving.
It means a lot to me personally, and I know that we see viewers who care a whole lot about this. This is the time when we pause to give thanks and talk about some of the great charities that we have working here in East Tennessee.
First up this morning, Second Harvest. Elaine Streno, good friend of ours. Always great to see you.
Thank you. Always good to see you guys too.
I want to run down the numbers on your website because this says it all in East Tennessee, and this is the opening page if you go to Second Harvest. Hunger by the numbers. 202,500 plus East Tennesseans experiencing hunger. You serve 18 counties, 8,000 square miles across East Tennessee, and more than 670 partners. What is the state of hunger in East Tennessee right now, especially given the hurricane?
Well, the hurricane devastated Cocke County, which is one of our counties, and then my counterpart in Kingsport, Second Harvest of Northeast Tennessee, had to deal with 5 of her counties. So it's been, prior to Helene, the numbers are up. There's more demand for food. Food is more expensive. It's more expensive for us to buy. It's been a challenging year. Helene, as you know, was just the worst tragedy I've ever seen, honestly, because it was just so close to home. And then the giving started, John. And we were talking, I mean, the giving started, people calling us from Arkansas. A guy drove from Mississippi with pallets of water overnight. It was an amazing sight and feeling of just, we want to help these people. And that's East Tennessee.
Helene hit in late September, and it sounds like pretty much immediately you are going to work. What kinds of things were you all doing? Because you responded so quickly.
Well, I mean, we got our trucks there as soon as possible. We have pantries in Cocke County. We have schools in Cocke County with our Food for Kids program. One of our agencies was completely decimated because she was on the river. And so we've been trying to get the food there. Rachel, our Director of Development, is talking to Newport's mayor every other day. We're just trying to do everything we can. Initially, in a tragedy like that, they need water, but then of course they're going to need so much else, and we're actually storing stuff, waiting for that period when they're rebuilding. And we're not housing, we're not anything, we're food, but we're going to be giving them food for a long time.
It's hard to compare disasters because each has its own complexities, but in 2016 our communities lived through the wildfires in the mountains. Right. You were a big part of that response as well. How does this compare to that in terms of the way Second Harvest looks at it?
Well, it was the same. Sevier County is so much stronger because of the unity of all the businesses there. And it was funny, they're doing something for the Sevier County restaurants, are doing something for Second Harvest, and a very strong pantry of our Sevier County Food Ministries. But I was told by the Sevier County people, they went to see the mayor the Sunday after the Friday tragedy, and it was like everybody in Newport just had the deer in headlights look, and they could relate to them because they had walked that journey with the wildfires. So it was kind of, again, it's East Tennessee, right? It's just, we're going to help them, we're going to give back and do whatever we can. I just thought the footage from this disaster, because the wildfires are horrible, but you see them often. This just kind of came through, and you just could not get your mind around, your house was here and now it's gone, not to mention the loss of life.
The breadth of the disaster also has kind of been overwhelming when you think, I mean, with the wildfire, and John and I are both, we were journalists here then when that happened. And that's kind of a contained area, but the flooding just was from northeast Tennessee all the way down the mountains, and then even into Hamlin and parts of Sevier County where that mobile home park had to be evacuated. You mentioned the great generosity that East Tennesseans have demonstrated, which is absolutely true. It's kind of a hallmark of this region. But let's talk support and money. How are you doing, and what kind of support are you getting money-wise to continue to meet the needs you have?
Well, the giving's been down prior to Helene. About 20% across the country, food bank wise. There's 200 of us, and we stay in touch with each other, and the giving's been down. We don't know why. You know, our divisive elections could have caused it. Who knows? But since Helene, people have been recognizing Second Harvest and our many other charities that you'll be talking to later are giving. But we've been a little you know, we've been through this before. I've been there a long time, but this one was like, what's going on? Why can't we put our finger on it? But the cost of food has been unbelievable.
Give us a sense, just in terms that our viewers will understand, about the kinds of inflation costs you've dealt with.
Well, we buy tractor trailer loads of potatoes. That particular item, it went up 50% in the summer. You know, it just kind of wavered. 2 years ago, peanut butter went up 50%. But this was all the fresh produce that we want to focus on because of the health of our clients and our pantries. It just escalated, and everybody buying food would come up and go 60%, 50%. I mean, butter is $6 right now, just for us, you know. So it's been a pretty magnificent thing to watch for us.
John has asked this in the past, and I think it helps put some perspective for our viewers, and that is, boil it down to the small gifts. They do matter.
Absolutely.
You don't have to give Second Harvest $100,000 or Mission of Hope $100,000 or Remote Area Medical $100,000.
Right.
$10 does make a difference. Explain how.
Well, $1 provides 3 meals for us because we are buying in bulk. And some of your coworkers came and volunteered this year, and it was wonderful. You know, packing cereal, doing all the things that we do for our 600 partners. And again, $1 provides 3 meals. If you are moved to give, we can do a lot with that dollar.
A couple of points I wanted to make. One thing, Elaine, I think this has popped up in recent weeks or months, and that's people who pretend to be Second Harvest or scammers. Can you just address that? Because I think it's worth the audience realizing the things to look out for and the best ways to help give.
Thank you. Yes, because sometime in the last 6 months there were people literally with Second Harvest shirts on asking people for support, and they were getting it. Because when you work hard, as we all do, the charities that you have represented here, it's our name is strong, and so people were giving. Do not give to anybody asking for money at a roadside stand or intersection. Go to the website and give that way. And our website, secondharvestetn.org, really tells a story more about Second Harvest than I can. So,
well, you have done it for years, and we appreciate your time, and thank you for your ongoing service.
And thank you for having us, and hope we have some great holidays.
Same to you.
Thank you, Elaine. We're back with another East Tennessee-based charity right after this. Back with another traditional interview on this Thanksgiving show. This is Jeff Eastman with Remote Area Medical. This is an East Tennessee-based charity that started with the vision of one man, Jeff, Stan Brock. We must pay tribute to him first off.
Yep, absolutely. Stan started us. Next year will be our 40th year that Stan started us with a free health care to those in need. And we miss him. He's been gone since 2018, but next year we will celebrate the 40th anniversary of his vision.
And on your website it says one thing: free quality health care. That is your core mission.
Absolutely. Stan was an adventurous person, to say the very least. Whatever was needed, he reached out to meet those needs. We've sort of shrunk the margins. It's strictly health care, free medical, free dental, free vision. And not only are we having our clinics for people come to us, we've now really jumped into telehealth. We're throughout East Tennessee with partners when they need us to be. We will set up at CareCuts, we're at CARM. We've got a mobile digital denture lab that's been going through Walmart parking lot, setting up and providing free dentures right there on spot, doing digital scanning and printing 3D dentures that day, dispensing the next.
In terms of telehealth, let's talk a little more about that. Because of COVID, that suddenly became sort of a go-to method, not just for folks who had no money or have little money, but even a lot of other people who have the benefit of money. How often are you all using it, and in what context?
Care to make a phone call now? Right now. Okay. We're available 24/7. Okay. We've called if nobody answers the phone. You can go to our website and get the phone number. They'll give you a call back and take care of you wherever you are in the state of Tennessee. For example, when they had the flooding up in that part of the, rather than sending out volunteers and staff that can be a real burden on the community because there's very limited resources. Once those communities were up and running and could reach out with a phone, We can refill prescriptions, do it, hey, I'm not feeling good. I need antibiotics prescribed on that. So it works really good. We've also found that it's very best. We've got a couple mobile telehealth units where we go out to a location. We have a nurse within that telehealth that actually does a triage, reaches out via Starlink to doctors somewhere else in the country and dispenses and does that diagnosis. The really added benefit is we can do wound care and other that nurses are in that scope of practice right there on site.
That is amazing. And you talked a little about the sort of the mobile dental clinic, which is really sort of extraordinary. Maybe we shouldn't say it's extraordinary. Maybe we should say that's the way things should be. But literally in the morning, if a patient could come visit the clinic, you'll have sort of an exam of some kind, a digital exam, and then you'll be able to be processing the teeth or the plate that afternoon?
Yep, 3D printing that day. It's technology. It's a very cutting edge on that. Actually, we're the one of the kind. Last year, we were just getting started. We've had it for a whole year now, doing those clinics here in East Tennessee, and actually starting down in Miami, up to New Jersey, back to the heartland, and back to Texas.
Jeff, you've said this before, and it was something that Stan reminded us of again and again. If you can't see very well and your teeth hurt, everything else is falling apart. Those are central and core to just our overall health, and then you'll move in and diagnose other problems that people may be suffering.
Yeah, absolutely. People come to us initially for the immediate pain. I'm in pain, I can't see. However, once they get to our clinic, because there's no ID required, no questions, we've got a great team that says, oh, by the way, here's what we have here for you today. We've got a podiatrist. Have you had your flu shot? Okay. We've got anyone else that you need, general medicine, women's health. Women's health is always up there first and forefront.
You said something when we were talking off camera, which I think is worth emphasizing for folks watching us right now who may not fully understand, and that's this. A lot of the people who come to you have insurance. They just can't afford what they really need.
Yeah.
Talk a little about that.
Absolutely. It's not uncommon for 3 out of 4 people at one of our clinics to have health care insurance. However, I don't know about you, but co-pays, max out-of-pockets can be in the $5,000. And that's a lot, okay? So you've got to have your co-pays, which are hard to meet. You've got deductibles. And guess what? They've got to be in network, okay? If you're, crazy as it seems, if you're up in Copper Hill, okay, and there's a hospital right across the border, guess what? You can't go to them. You've got to go all the way down to Erlang, okay, because you're out of network. So it's those challenges right there. So it's individuals who just have a hard time, and it's your school bus driver, it's your convenience store,
janitors.
It's where you went grocery shopping.
Yep.
Explain what $10, $50 does as a gift to RAM USA.
Makes a huge difference. 85% of our funding comes from individual donors. $1 will deliver $3 worth of care in our normal traditional clinics where people wait outside, come in, have hundreds of volunteers. I'm really excited. Currently, we've got this huge fleet. We're on top of each other. We're getting ready to launch a capital campaign. The first part of the year, we've been able to have an option on acquiring 2 buildings right next to us and actually form a campus to make a difference so we can even treat more people as we move forward in East Tennessee.
Makes sense. What's the best way people can help?
Best way to use ramusa.org and just click on the donate button. Cars, you name it, checks, cash. We'll even take your Bitcoin.
Jeff Eastman, we appreciate you coming on every year to break it down for us and carrying on Stan Brock's vision. And for people who say you can't do anything when you're over 50, he started this when he was 55 years old.
He was just hitting 50 when he started it. Okay? Walked away from his fame and fortune of the Mutual Owner's Wild Kingdom earlier, his flights, pilot, movie career, and started. So one person can make a difference. And everybody in the community here can be that one person to give a little or give a lot based on capacity in making a difference.
Here's to you, here's to Ram, and here's to Stan Brock. Jeff, always great to see you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. We'll be back with another East Tennessee-based charity right after this. We are focused on East Tennessee-based charities. This is our Thanksgiving Inside Tennessee. Again, John North, one of your favorites.
Yeah, it really is, because it reminds you of two things: the great need that we have in this region, and also the fact that there are a lot of people that are always helping. They don't draw a lot of attention to themselves, but they are always finding ways to help others, and that's amazing. We need that.
Good example of that right here. David Heatherly with Mission of Hope. Always great to see you. Let's talk about, you're right in the middle of the Blue Barrel campaign, but for people who don't know about Mission of Hope, just explain a quick history and we'll get into what you need right now.
Yeah, back in 1996, this ministry began with the idea that we're going to help people throughout Appalachia. So if you think about old coal country in Tennessee and Kentucky, those communities have been devastated over the past few years. So Mission of Hope, we are bringing hope to those communities, and we want to help children out, and especially right here at Christmas.
Mm-hmm. That Blue Barrel campaign is something that our viewers may be just familiar with every year around this time. Mm-hmm. Explain where you stand now and how people can give.
Well, we're going to raise 20,000 toys for 10,000 kids. We're going to see over 29 elementary schools. It's a huge task each and every year, but this community is unbelievable in how it comes out strong. We've started good, but we still need to raise some toys. So if you're willing, we've got Blue Barrels at different locations. Go to missionofhope.org and you can find those, or you can go there and donate straight to us.
And just to be clear, someone might buy the toy and put it in the Blue Barrel. Is that correct?
They can, and you can find those locations on the website. But if you can't, if you just want to lay around in your pajamas, right, we have the Cyber Barrel, and you can click on a wish list off of our website. And the great news is you don't even have to handle the toy. It'll come right to our warehouse, and we'll take care of it from there and deliver it to a child.
If you've got your iPhone, you can do it from your phone.
100%.
And this is going on through?
It'll be on through the 22nd, so we're in good shape. Or I'm sorry, the 10th. So we'll be in good shape there.
December 10th. And let's talk about the need. We spoke to Second Harvest and Elaine Streno about the need after the hurricane. Those are some of the counties that you're in all the time. What did you see?
You know, it was just a few years ago when Eastern Kentucky flooded. And so you hate to say it looks very similar to what that happened, but it did. And what unfortunately happened for us, we're not set up to do that initial food, right? We're different. We're different than that. But this community came together on a weekend for us, and we raised 3 tractor trailer loads of food just for what we do. That's amazing. We didn't expect it. And so we were able to come in and start working with new partners in this area that we hadn't even hadn't met, but we started making phone calls and found them. And all along that border, we were able to bring in food and water and help these people out. Just devastation to a degree, and it's affected me a little bit. But yeah, it was an amazing event.
We were talking a little off camera about going forward in terms of responding to Helene and what you all want to do. You talked about housing. You talked about sort of giving housing and shelter and a roof to folks. Talk a little about that.
So there's really 3 phases to it, what we saw in Kentucky. Right, the initial food response. The next one is the camping, which is kind of where we are now. People need tents, heaters, and so forth.
And they're living in them right now.
They are living in them.
Some people don't realize that. There are people living in tents right now.
45 minutes from Knoxville.
We are sourcing those items and getting them to our partners. But now we're moving into the phase where they start the rebuild. And I think one of the powerful things that we're starting to see from this is not only the community coming together, but all the different nonprofits. You had Elaine on here, you had Bram on here, but we're working with a group out of Johnson City that does housing and have done housing in the regions we go for years, right? And what we're doing is we're trying to take a house to a home. They're going to build the foundation. They're going to put the studs up, get everything built. They're going to get a house back. What we want to do then is make it a home. We want to come in with furniture, make sure mama's happy, right? And so we are partnering with a couple different groups, and we're going to start basically getting furniture, beds, bed sheets, towels, all those little things that when they move back in, it's ready to go, turnkey style. Tree, toys, everything's ready to go, and they can start anew.
Another thing that you've focused on long term is education and the scholarships. Explain that program and what it's done for communities and especially people in rural Appalachia.
Well, the areas we go, it's about a 64% high school graduation rate. I mean, that just, every time I say that number, it boggles my mind, right? But what we've done is we now go into the elementary schools feeding the high schools, and we bring them a consistent message, right? We give them toys, we give them backpacks at the beginning of the year, correct? But that whole message is you can graduate high school. There is hope beyond what you see. And so our scholarship now, since I think 2009, we've had 91 children graduate. We're getting ready to put 4 more graduate that I signed off on today. And this fall, I think we had 58 kids on college scholarship. And the beauty of that is we're starting to see them now come back into the workforce. They're not leaving, they're coming back in, they're becoming teachers. And now they're getting a chance to teach these children and tell them, I used to get the toy from Mission of Hope. They gave me a scholarship. You can actually do this.
I've always thought that was the really smart aspect of what you all do. That's the long-term investment. That's the long ball. We want you to come back. We're going to take care of you. We want you to get the best education you can, but then don't forget where you're from.
Right, and you hit on it. We do have some kids that have left and moved on, but what we really want to do is continue to strengthen the areas. If we can improve the areas, if we can continue to build those up, it gives those kids hope. And that's what we really need. We want those kids to have a goal and something that they can reach for instead of just not.
As John mentioned with our other interviews, let's talk about the best way to help. We mentioned it with the Blue Barrel campaign, if you want to be a part of that, but explain, if you donate $10 to Mission of Hope, where that's going.
Well, here's the great news about donating to a nonprofit like us. We can buy at a degree that the regular person can't, right? We can source it at different ways. So if you give us $10, I promise you your $10 is going to go much further than what you can do for us, because we're going to know the very specific need, right? We're going to know, we can always buy toys and we can buy coats, but we're going to know the size coat we need for the child we're going after. We can know the tent that we're going to need to buy right now. And so money for us, it gives us a lot of flexibility depending on what need comes in through the door to be able to purchase. And so that's what makes us successful.
David, we so appreciate your work and the conversation this morning.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. We hope you help them out, and we'll be back with some closing thoughts on this Sunday morning right after this. Some closing thoughts with my colleague John North. And John, we were talking about this on camera, but one of the things that these charities we've featured do a terrific job of doing is being flexible.
Right. I mean, they have dealt with good times and bad times economically. We've had them on every year to talk about that. And then who would have guessed, late September, this massive weather system blasts through and devastates East Tennessee and western North Carolina, and suddenly these folks have to respond, and they do respond, and they adapt. I mean, we heard tonight or this morning how they do that.
And I was struck by the waves Elaine was talking about giving. In COVID, they really thought we may have to, this is bad. And all of a sudden, people opened up their wallets for it, and now we've hit this lull again.
Right. And it also underscores how when we do go through something horrible like this, you do see the sort of the spirit of giving in East Tennessee, people stepping up and responding. We didn't talk about this on camera, but some of those folks also are trying to help out in western North Carolina. They are focusing on East Tennessee, but they're also trying to help some of the people in western North Carolina.
And again, we just featured 3 East Tennessee homegrown charities. There are certainly many others that we hope you invest some time and your money in as well across the region. But we appreciate you watching on this Thanksgiving weekend. We hope you have a safe and wonderful start to your holiday season, and we'll see you back here next week.